On.
I've lost all sense of direction since my baby left me behind. I've lost the will to keep living, but I'm so afraid to die. I lift my head toward heaven as I fell down on my knees. I cried, Lord, please help me find that woman. The best thing ever happened to me. But I'm too much man to cry. I'm too much.
All right, welcome to the 13th edition of the Real Men Don't Play show. And tonight, we don't have anything to cry about. This is a celebration. In the house, sitting to my immediate left, a friend for over 20 years, a man, if I ever met one, you'll find out tonight why he has become the face of boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to introduce him right now because he's just here. He was here early. I'm talking about real early. He supported Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle because he that kind of brother. You know, he get out in the neighborhood. He go where he want to go, do what he want to do. And he chose to be my friend, and I'm so proud to have him in studio. Ladies and gentlemen, the face of boxing, Mr. Sam Watson.
Thank you.
That's him. That's
All
him.
right.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And to my far left, brother from another mother, the voice of reason, the Zoe What Morning Show, son, father to baby Nuriel Williams,
That's my guy.
cute little daughter too, and another son, a man's man, dear friend, and a brother to me. Zoe Williams is in the house.
Oh, man. Thank you, Bobby. I feel like a champion.
Okay, as is our custom, we try to showcase people who get out in the community in various capacities, and we call this segment the Community Business Profile. This evening, I have with me a gentleman that I've known for, oh my God, it's been 25 years. And I met him through an associate, a mutual friend by the name of Godwin Uwunze, who was running a real estate program that the federal government sponsored called the 203K program. Man, my credit was so tore up that I was missing opportunities. And this brother looked at my profile and said, man, you ought to be glad that they letting anybody buy houses and apartments. And this brother worked my stuff out to the point where I got an 8-unit apartment building, flipped it, paid some child support. But I learned a very important lesson about credit, because had my credit been better, I could have made on that transaction probably another $30,000, $40,000. I lost that much money because we were dealing with a hard money situation. For those of you who don't really get into the real estate thing, when your credit is messed up, you give up points, and it costs you, oh my God. So I want you to say good evening, good afternoon to Mr. Thomas Knowles. How you doing this evening, Thomas?
Terrific, Bobby. I'm glad to be here with you.
So Thomas, kind of give my audience a little background on what you've done, where you are, and what it is you're doing today.
Actually, I got in real estate in 1970. I got my broker's license in 74. I've done exchanges. I've owned my own escrow company. So I've done just about all of the aspects of it. Lately, I've been working, seeing the advantages of working with some of the financial educational services that enable people to stay on top of their credit and stay on top of their loans. I have an NMLS license, and what that means is that I'm licensed to do residential loans for residential homes. That was a special law that was passed by the Dodd-Frank law that requires all now to have a background check, and it's very, 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 very good. And they have some very good products out there too for first-time home buyers, and I specialize a lot with them. The first-time home buyer is anyone that hasn't owned their own home in the last 3 years, and they have an opportunity. There's a city program called LIPA. They can get up to $60,000. There's a program that Luther Burbank has made available through the DOJ that sued them.
Well, the DOJ, Department of Justice.
Right.
Okay.
The Department of Justice sued Luther Burbank Savings because they didn't have enough diversity in their loan policies. And so in the settlement, Luther Burbank agreed to put up so many $1 million. And what they do for first-time home buyers, they give you $7,500 towards your closing costs, and they give you $7,500 down payment. Minorities can buy anywhere, and anyone that's not Caucasian, European Caucasian, is considered a minority.
Now, you can't buy none of Donald Sterling's property.
Well, yeah, but I see.
That was a joke. I don't want to get sidetracked because you have been able to work with people from all various income stratas and whatnot. Can you explain to my audience the importance of having good credit, and when you don't have good credit, what you can do that's realistic to improve your credit status and the benefit of doing so?
Like I say right now, a lot of my clients that have credit challenges in the past, I've really been directing them to this program. It's called the Financial Educational Services. And what they're capable of doing is really educating you about the process of credit and what to watch out for. They even have that identity theft type programs and stuff like this right here. But what people have to understand is that no matter where you are, if you're at point A and you want to be at point B, there's a relevant step that must be taken in between those. And so whatever they are, we can sit down together and then we analyze what those relevant steps are. And then if you have someone that holds you accountable to it, because a lot of times we don't hold ourselves accountable, we kiss it off and say, well, I was going to do it, but I got a reason why. And the reason why is not important as you getting it done. A lot of times when you commit to someone else, if you have a meeting in the family, that will help you make the necessary commitment to do the relevant steps necessary to get from point A to point B. You mentioned Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling didn't start off at point B. He started off at point A, no matter where that is. And he starts doing relevant things necessary to do that. He started buying properties. Then he went up to larger units. And then he traded up to other units. He did 1031 exchanges. 1031 exchanges enabled you to move your product from one property to another without paying the taxes on it and just moving that down the line. So you're controlling more of your assets. So there's a lot of things that we can learn about, we need to know about, and it's an ongoing process. We will never arrive, we just arrive in.
Well, you know,
the wonderful thing that is very basic is that we have, in and of itself, 4 basic necessities, and this is what you're going to learn. Basic. This has been years, and it's food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and the only one that really holds up is shelter. You've got to have your own place that you're living in because you've got to pay for the shelter. The food, you eat it up, your clothes, you wear it out, your cars, you wear it out. But the only thing that really can sustain yourself and really grow, enable you to amass something, is your shelter.
Well, you know, we're in a totally different real estate environment now, especially here in Southern California, especially in South L.A. You mentioned all these first-time buyers programs. What is it about your services and how you assemble them that gives a person that's struggling, that still wants to buy a home, a fair shot at getting a home?
Well, let's look at some of the programs. They got the City of Los Angeles presents. It has a program called LIPA. Unfortunately, right now, they're out of funds, naturally, because they give away $60,000 towards your down payment to assist the person.
So do you help people with the paperwork on that? Because
Absolutely.
that's important for people to know because it overwhelms people. I remember dealing with you, and you took all them forms, and I said, Thomas, just tell me where to sign, which means there has to be a trust factor involved.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I want my audience to know that this brother did well in school, but he's also streetwise. And in our community, that's very, very important. Now, how do my audience get in touch with you if they want more information about the services that you offer? Do you have a website?
Yeah, I have a website. It's called thomaslnalls.com. My email address is Thomas, THOMAS, at thomaslnalls.com. My phone number is 626-251-0349. And I'll eventually get back with you. And sometimes, and I want to say this too. You got more comfortable after the process was completed.
Yes.
It was a trust factor up front that enabled us to do. But as we completed that transaction, that house became yours, then you look back on it and you say, oh, that made sense, that made sense, that made sense. And that's what the growth is all about.
And believe me, you guys, I was very unsophisticated and a little embarrassed because he looked at my finances and said, oh, my God, you got your nerve trying to buy this property.
It was great.
And when he pulled that deal off, I knew who to call from that point forward. Now, can people from all over the country and Canada use your services? Because there's people all over the world watching this show right now.
A different portion of it can be. Right now, I do have an NMLS license, and my broker's license is for the state of California.
Okay.
And my NMLS license is for about 26 different states.
Okay.
But I have a lot of referrals that I can do, and if we sit down and we counsel, and if you're used to the process of counseling, you mind if I share what that is?
Real quickly, because we got to get
into
the part of the show.
What counseling basically is that we have an idea that we want to do something, but what we need to do is to have someone that's skilled enough to ask questions, and as you answer those questions, you begin to think about what it is those answers should be, and they do it in such a way that you actually build a context around the problem. So in the context of any problem lies a solution, but it becomes your solution because it picks out what you want to do, and that's what makes it so effective.
Okay, Thomas, I'm gonna have you back and explore this as it relates to Southern California and the changing landscape here, because there's a lot of things going on that I dealt with a couple of weeks ago on our show that I did about gentrification. And what little property is left, I want to be able to steer people in this community to someone like you to position themselves, because South LA is on fire right now in terms of real estate opportunity. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Thomas Knowles. Thank you for being our subject tonight for a Community Business Profile.
Thank you, Bobby.
In a minute, we're going to be right back and go knee deep, boot deep, with the face of boxing, Mr. Sam Watson. We'll be right back.
Right black.
I've lost all sense of direction since my baby left me behind. I've lost the will to keep living, but I'm so afraid to die. I lift my head toward heaven as I fell down on my knees. I cried, Lord, please help me find that woman
You were listening to Mr. Entertainment, also known as the Candyman, that cut Too Much Man to Cry is on his Burning CD. You need to check him out. My friend for many years, and it's ironic that I met Sam about the same time that I met Dee Bradley, and I was at a concert, and everybody was saying that wanted to go backstage. They were looking for this cat named Sam Watson. He had 3 phones. He was on all 3 of them. And he looked at me like, get in line, who referred you, And that went on for about a year, man. I said, who is this cat that everybody at the show is looking for? Oh, man, that's Sam Watson, man, Sam Watson. And after I paid my dues, he finally let me go backstage at a Luther Vandross concert. And he started introducing me to people. Hey, that's Bobby Gunn, that's Bobby Gunn. My homeboy, because Sam is originally from Memphis, Tennessee. But enough of me talking.
Volunteer
Here
state.
he is, right? Matter of fact, this is really special tonight. This is Tennessee across the board.
In
That's
the building.
Chattanooga, Memphis,
And Alabama.
Murfreesboro.
Now, Alabama, you
No,
can't
no,
do
you
that.
on the outskirts now.
Hold up, man. Hold
You
up,
on the
man.
outskirts.
Hold up.
Country boys.
Y'all got that red dirt over there. We don't play that over there, man. Shit. So, Sam.
You see between my toes. Huh?
Yeah. All right. Hold on, Mr. Nob. Now, here's the deal. You just shared something with me that allows me to satisfy what I pitched to the audience in terms of watching the show tonight. I told them that you became the face of boxing because of a number of different things. Part of it is the momentum from being a music promoter, okay? Mm-hmm. But you had a situation last week that I want you to share with them that pretty much explains why you are the face of boxing. You were at an event in Vegas, right?
Yeah, but for the Floyd Mayweather fight, Floyd won Fighter of the Year. Mm-hmm. Tim Bradley and some other guy won Fight of the Year. A bunch of announcers won all kind of awards for the writers. And Al Heyman won Manager of the Year, and I accepted the award for Al Heyman. So the Golden Boy people wanted me to go up there and say, with a straight face, to all the big-time writers, that I am Al Heyman. And I got ready to do that. When I walked up on stage, I said something different. I said, I am not Al Heyman, but I play Al Heyman on TV. and then what's that? Yahoo Sports got it and just ran off with it, and they just pumped it up real nice, which was really nice. And really, Al Heyman is my best friend in the whole wide world, and we've been together for a long time, 35 years. And it was just, I've been with him through thick and thin, and he's my guy. I mean, when I first met him, I knew everybody. I knew Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, and I mean, all the Jackson, all the celebrities. But it wasn't nobody like Al Heyman. Mm-hmm. He just said, Sam, I know you know them all, but I think that you're like my deal that I got. And we was doing concerts, and at that time, big concerts. And we've been doing big concerts ever since. Next biggest show we're doing next in 2 months will be Lil Wayne and Drake.
Wow.
So we don't mess around. We've been doing them, and it's like a good thing about it is, a blessing is that we do the concerts with Frankie Beverly and all them, Patti LaBelle. Then we do the big ones, rap with Chris Brown and all that, and we also got the fight business. We in the fight business now, thanks to Vernon Forrest knocking off Sugar Shane about 14 years ago, and
wow.
We got the fight game, and now we got like 90-something fighters and
90
winners too.
How many champions, roughly?
A lot of them, man. I mean, I got a list of them. Floyd.
Can't keep up with them.
We got so many, man.
Can't keep up with the champions.
We got so many champions, and if they lose, we got a way to get them back at another chance in there to get them back in there again. We love what we're doing with the fighters. The fighters, is you do all the fighting, you deserve the money. That's what we deserve. That's what we believe. We don't rip them off and all that. If you had a son, you'll be bringing your son. So if you had a son, you'll be bringing your son right to me, because you want him to get a fair shake.
Right.
That's what we do.
10 years ago at your 50th birthday party, you brought me on stage and said, "This is Bobby Clanton Smith. He writing a book about me." About me. And I told the people, I said, yes, I'm writing a book called Real Men Don't Play. 10 years later, at his 60th birthday party in Beverly Hills, a little over, it'd be, 2 weeks?
A week and a half,
Sunday.
2 weeks, yeah.
He brought me on stage, and I handed him a copy of Real Men Don't Play. And he took it home, and I saw him a few days later, and he said, man, you can write, man. You can write. I said, I've been telling you.
And plus, you put me in there with Jim Brown. 'Cause Jim Brown
man.
Oh yeah.
Jim Brown, man.
man.
When I was a kid, Jim Brown, man.
Yeah.
I remember at the Coliseum, Jim Brown got that ball. He didn't go down.
Now, I want you to talk about that because you were only, you were about 6 years old when you came to California from Memphis, right?
Off and on when I was 1, 2, and 3, but I stayed when I was 6 years old.
Okay, and you started working.
I got a job selling ice cream on the corner of 67th and San Pedro at a little ice cream scoop, man. Man had me scooping ice cream. I only did it for a couple of months, but it was.
How old were you?
8 years old.
8 years old.
And then I started selling newspapers at 9. We all had, in those good old days, newspapers and pushing baskets. You would push a lady's basket, and when she get to the car, help her with the groceries out. And it wasn't about. I used to tell my friends all the time. It wasn't about if she gave us money or not. A nickel, a dime, a quarter. Just do it to be nice.
Right.
And that's when you get most of your tips. You look at a person and think they're not going to give you nothing. Them the people that give you. And in them days, a nickel and a dime
Went
was
somewhere.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. So my mom and dad was living. My mom was living. He had a job and all that, but it wasn't no real money. But to us, we had a big pot of dimes and nickels. So we sold newspapers, and then. I remember all that stuff. And I remember when the Watts riot came, I was a little boy selling all the newspapers. It was like 10 of us selling papers, but I always sold more papers. I don't know how, I just always went a step ahead to get that money from them people who wanted to buy them newspapers. But like I said, we all did. We shined shoes. We did everything. I remember when 65, when Muhammad Ali fought, a long time ago, what's the one? The one
Which
through
one?
the fight.
Sonny Liston?
Yes, hey, listen. We was them little, we was them little black kids on right there on 67th and Main, listening to the radio. We was on the radio. We was like you see them kids sometime on the radio when they little boys. Was old.
Yeah.
That was us sitting there listening to because it wasn't on TV.
Right.
And I was going. That's why I love Muhammad Ali so much. And I when I met him, it was like it made me feel so good.
So, from the standpoint of your DNA, when people meet you and love you, does that come from your father's DNA or your mother, or is it just a mixture of the two?
My mother's a nice
'Cause I never
lady.
met your father.
My
but
father was tough.
Was he?
In Memphis, Tennessee. He was a tough guy.
Oh, okay.
But he was cool. He had a club. He had a little club called the Devil's Den in Memphis, Tennessee. And he had all the girls and all the guys. He never,
Devil's Den.
Yeah, it was a cool
The
little spot.
devil did.
Right.
In the ghetto of Memphis, Tennessee. But I love Memphis. I love to go back and with my little success I got, I like to go back there and hang out with
You
my
do.
friends.
You
I
do
love to
a
go back to
lot.
Memphis. I'm
Yeah.
going back next week, matter of fact.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get back. Just for the weekend. You get your soul back when you go home.
Yeah.
I get my soul back. That's my way.
So, your mom, Mother Rose Watson.
Yeah.
She's my mama too.
Yeah, she's
sweet, sweet, sweetheart. What is it about her that you have just, bled into your soul, man, that has made you so successful?
Well, she didn't drink. I didn't drink. I started drinking when I got 29 years old. Had my first little drink. I don't even know why I did that, and I just, she didn't smoke nothing. I never smoked weed in my life. So, it's just following her footsteps. I had two fathers, a stepfather and a real father. My stepfather was cool his way, and my real father was cool his way in Memphis, Tennessee. So I listened and looked and watched and listened and looked and watched. And then I remember when they had the riots in 1965, we lived right there. It was Reese High School then. It's Bethune High School, junior high school now. But Martin Luther King came over there, and that was really exciting to me to see this great man come over there. So we went over there and hung out, and I looked at King, and I couldn't believe that he was this close to us.
Wow.
So, it was like the riots was going on. Everybody was tensed up and scared, but I was a little kid, 10, 11 years old. I didn't care. I knew where I was. I knew that I was a good person. I guess I've always tried to be, I learned a lot about being good. A good person lasts longer than a rich or a successful person. Good people. Good people are better.
Now, sports-wise, I've seen you throw up that little bullshit jump shot you got, but it goes in.
Well, I just play for fun.
What's Bobby doing? Where's Bobby going?
No, it goes in though. It goes in.
Bobby
goes
going
in.
with
We
it.
play a lot of basketball. Me and my friends, we don't play the game
Right.
because I'm 60 and I can't run, but we just shoot straight jumpers.
How
And
good were you in baseball?
I was the best. I thought I was the best in the whole wide world in baseball.
What was your position?
Shortstop, second base.
You had the arm to
outfield.
play shortstop.
Well, what happened was Motown, I had a job working for the kids at Raymond Avenue Elementary School, where the original Denny ride was over there, Florence and Normandy.
Yeah.
That was my neighborhood, Florence
Okay.
and Normandy. I was
The man.
18, 19 years old. I was a coach at the school. I could have ran for mayor. Everybody in the community knew I didn't smoke weed and didn't drink, and I was just a good to their daddies. A lot of daddies running off, and I was right there to all them little kids. So then one day, the man, the field man, the general manager, whatever, came over to the school and said, "Sam, you're not doing something right." I said, "Not doing something right? What are you talking about?" And I'd already had Motown waiting to give me a job. On that job at the school board, I was making $200 a month.
What year was that?
It had to be 1978, 77, 78. $200 a month. The little man came to me and says, "Little black guy, Sam, you're not doing something right." Now, I knew I had to kill all these kids because I stayed away from drugs, stayed away from smoking, stayed away from drinking. That's the main thing with any of them. Because cocaine, now they was just regular weed and smoking, drinking. And so on that day, I just said, "Man, you came the wrong day, man. You came the wrong day. You should have said it to me." I quit this job because Motown had a job for me making $1,000 a week,
A week?
and a brand new 1978 Malibu,
A week?
Wow.
and all the food and drinks and anything I wanted for free and gas.
Wow.
So and Motown told me that because I was a baseball player. I played baseball so good. The president of Motown, Mike Lushka, said, "Sam, I'll give you a job whenever you're ready." And I was trying to stay in the community with the kids for the $200 a month.
$200 a month.
So the next day, I took the job, and I told all my friends, I said, "I'm gone. You don't worry
holler
about
at
me
y'all
no more."
later. Right.
And I went over their house. They thought I was, they know my potential, but they didn't know it was gonna be like this. I said, "I'm gone, man." I tried to deal with the kids, and I missed the kid. So the first day of work, the very first day of work, I went down with my little suit on. I mean, not my suit, little blazer, and I was happy. Little white guy named Sid Thompson. "So you're Sam Watson?" I said, "Yeah." Took the job. He said, "You got a job?" Mike Lushka said, "You come on, so you start working today." I said, "Okay, thank you, man." So I went in there, and he said, "Take your jacket off and go over there and move those CDs and those albums, put them in order." So I went over there and started putting them in order. Then I seen a Mexican guy and 2 Japanese guys, and I was the only black guy. So I kept putting them up for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. Then I said, hold on. Sid, something's wrong.
Right.
Something's wrong. The president of Motown, Mike Lushka, told me that I worked for Motown. He didn't say nothing about, and I wasn't too good to do the stocking,
right.
stock and stuff, but I know if I did that, I'd probably be there forever.
Right.
So I said, "Hey, man, you tell Sid," and I told Sid, "You tell Mike that I don't want to do this job. I'd rather be back with the kids, working with the kids, playing football, catch baseball." So I walked away. I called my wife. I said, "Man, they got me doing some stuff. I'm not doing this kind of stuff." Went home sad. Mike called me that night. Mike Lushka called me and said, "What's wrong, Sammy?" I said, "Man, that's cool, Mike. I'm gonna play on your team. I'm gonna fulfill what I'm gonna do, play on your team."
Play the game.
Yeah, but I'm not doing that job. He said, "Well, what do you want this weekend? Come in tomorrow. I went to the office on 6, right there. It's the House of Blues. It's right now, so it's on
Sunset?
Vine and Sunset. And I
Yeah.
said, Mike said, "So if you don't want to do that, Sam, what do you want to do?" I said, "I want to work for Motown. If I'm not going to work for Motown, I'm going back to the kids." He said, "So what do you want to do? You want to do sales? You want to do promotion? You want to do marketing? What do you want to do?" I ain't know nothing about no marketing. I ain't know about no sales.
Right.
I said, "I want to do special projects." He looked at him. "You got it, Sam." And that was it. That was it. That was it. I was on, and then from then on, Rick James, my best friend, Marvin Gaye was already my best friend. Marvin Gaye told Barry Gordy, "You just hired Sam Watson." Magic Johnson came to town. Barry Gordy said, "You got to meet with Irvin Magic." I said, "I already know him." And I took him. I mean, we embraced. I took everybody there from wherever to Motown. Tina Marie was just coming. Well, she came a little later. Rick James. I mean, everybody. We had all of them, and they was all my best friends, my personal best friends.
Wow.
And I see y'all. And right now, Motown's what helped me out so much.
That was a young man
That's a great story.
You at some point ran across, probably because he made his name a name to remember as a baseball player at I think it was Fremont High School. He was a multi-sport athlete by the name of Eric Davis.
Oh my God, Eric Davis. Let me tell you,
He's on the phone right now.
Oh,
Eric's cold.
Hey,
Yo, Eric.
hey,
Eric.
Ed, you
Eric.
gotta get on that phone, man.
Is he there? Hello, Eric.
Might have hung up.
It's had him a whole long time.
Okay.
We'll get him back.
Yeah, we're
get him back.
Don't worry, we'll
Hey,
get him back.
we're going to take a short pause, and we'll be right back. Don't you go nowhere, because Sam is just warming up.
Oh yeah, I love this. I like this.
That's good.
I've lost all sense of direction since my baby left me behind. I've lost the will to keep living, but I'm so afraid to die. I lift my head toward heaven as I fell down on my knees. I cried, Lord, please help me find that woman. The best thing ever happened to me. But I'm too much
Oh, boy. Man, that's where we from right there. Them horns and that blues riff right there. Woo, Lord have mercy. Deep Bradley, too much man to cry. We have on the line one of the great center fielders of all time. He's a Cincinnati Reds Hall of Famer. He's presently the assistant to the general manager. And him and Sam Watson go way back like the seats in a Broham Cadillac. Yo, Eric.
What's happening, man?
Man, holla at your boy.
Sam, what it do, baby?
Hey man, Eric Davis was Keith Eric Davis was the greatest athlete in those days. I was coaching them little bad kids. I cheated. I put some 11-year-old kids out there against the 9 and 10s. Eric was about 9, almost 10. My kids were 11 and 12. They was too old. And I knew we was gonna win the game at Baldwin Park. It was a basketball game, and Eric got a better brother named Jimmy Davis. Jimmy kept saying, "Sam, you playing against my brother today?" I said, "Yeah, but he can't stop these boys I got." Man, the game got started, and I had the best. I had Walter Armstrong and Jimmy Edwards, and they was both a couple years older than Eric, and I was supposed to win anyway. Yeah. Man, Eric Davis from that day on showed me some miracle. He went through whatever Walter did. Eric done it.
Wow.
Whatever Jimmy Davis did, Eric Davis done it. Eric had 4 guys with him, regular players. I had 3 strong ones and 2 regulars. So I was supposed to win the game.
Right.
Eric Davis by himself. It seemed like he was by himself out there. Won them games. And ever since then, I told Jimmy, I said, Jimmy, your brother is so cool. Now, Jimmy could play too, but not as Eric was younger. You know, it's always a younger brother always come and get all the good stuff. Yeah. That's how Eric was. Wow. Jimmy played just to set the stage, but Eric played to win all the games, and that's what he did.
So you've been knowing him since he was 9 years old?
10 years old, and he's always played baseball and basketball, but when he started playing baseball for real, he played baseball all day, every day. We had a team one time at Bethune. He played on a team halfway, but he said, Sam, he told Mr. McNair was the principal. He said, McNair, you guys ain't got you don't play the kind of ball I play for real. we was playing some.
That's a true story. I see some of the guys on the team.
He knew everybody.
I was playing at Baldwin and Manchester and everywhere.
They used to come get him. He'd ride bikes everywhere, going from park to park to park to park, and being a star. And I did the same thing with my son Brandon that Eric did. I took him places when he was little league so he can see the difference in the ghetto, in the nice part, in the good area, in Marina, in Harvard Park. We took him everywhere just because I remember what Eric did when he was doing this thing. See, Eric Davis was the greatest athlete around in basketball and baseball. That's what made him so special. And he could have ran track if he didn't want to too. So, and he just was one of the great. He never did slide. He was so fast. And when he one time and he invited me, he invited me to his game, the Dodger Stadium, and the Cincinnati Reds and the Dodgers. And I went down there on the first row at batting practice, and Eric said, "Hey Sam, catch this." He threw me his glove. I said, "What you doing, man?" He said, "I'm not playing today." He said, "I'm not playing. I'm not gonna play. But when I do get in this game, you will see." The next day started Eric Davis' career. Because
That's a true story.
Eric's one of them guys who knows how to do the right thing and right things happen for you. He's one of them kind of guy, like I said, a good guy. He's always accepted, always. He took care of my son. He helped my son as much as he could in the NBA. Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, I named my son after him. My son is Brandon Watson, Eric's his godfather.
Wow.
And I appreciate it. I know Darryl Strawberry, that's my man too. But Eric Davis had that neighborhood over there where I come from, more. It was just right there for us. And he's always been the same way. He's always gonna be the same way. He's a good guy. And like I'll tell you about good, successful, and rich, the good guys always end up, as long as you, bad karma and all that, being a good guy means a lot in this world.
Wow.
So, Eric,
Wow.
kind of take us through how you know Sam and you have had such a long relationship with him. Just kind of speak to the special
Well,
nature of your friendship.
it was easy, and it's just like Sam said. I mean, it went all the way back to I was 9 years old, and it actually started on the basketball court. And then our relationship, see the thing that sports does for inner city kids that people don't realize, it unites cultures and neighborhoods. And when you play sports and you travel from park to park, back when we played, it really eliminated you from gang banging and things of that nature because they looked at you from a different perspective. And so me traveling around from park to park and playing in Inglewood and Compton and Watts and all those different kind of things, you learn they give you that respect as a ball player. And as a ball player, you got to know how to maintain that respect. And I've always been able to do that, even though I had friends that gang bang and did a lot of things and things of that nature. I was always able to separate what I wanted to accomplish in conjunction to what was happening at the present time in my life. And as my relationship grew, as I grew older, my relationship with Sam grew. And it wasn't because of the things that he was doing. Everybody knew he did the tickets. I remember when he used to ride me and Straw around in the white limousine. So we had a lot of that. That's when he had the old Lincoln, and we used to be in the farm all night. You know what I'm saying? And so our friendship escalated over that time. And the word that I want to emphasize more than anything with Sam is friend. A lot of people take that word for granted. A lot of people mistreat that with success, with finances, with his ability to do a lot of different things for that person. I've never looked at Sam in that light, and that's probably why we've always remained friends. And Sam has helped me out of the kindness of his heart, not because he felt like he owed me anything. And that's the relationship that we have. And to know Sam then and to know Sam Watson now, it's no different. I mean, can people see Sam on TV and they see him with Floyd and do a lot of different things? Sam has earned that, and that's why I always refer to him as the Godfather of Los Angeles. It's because it's always a city that has that guy that people want to emulate, people want to be about, and it wasn't in a negative way. I mean, you had people who did their thing in other fields and had reputations in other fields and stuff in the city, but as far as the reputation that Sam had and has today, it's like the Godfather reputation. People come to Sam, and I know he probably won't talk about this, but people come to Sam for all different kind of things.
Sure enough.
Advice, help, finance, all kind of different things. And the thing that makes Sam the person that he is Sam will help anybody that's trying to help themselves.
Say that.
And for a long time, I didn't understand that. I just wanted to help people. You know what I'm saying? You coming from South Central, you making money, you just wanted to help people. But I don't even know if Sam remember telling me, he was like, E.D., you got to stop using your money. You got to start doing this. You got to help people who going to help you back. And he's always lived by that creed. And it took me some time to learn that. And and I've never told him that, but I do thank you for that, Sam, is because even though you never felt like you probably thought you was an inspiration, you was way more an inspiration, not just to me, but to a lot of different people in this community because of the way you were. It's not too many people you can pick up the phone and call, and if he don't answer, he'll call you back. You know, and not figure like, what this dude want, what that guy.
Right.
I know he has guys like that. Because we all do, but he's never changed in that capacity, and the way that he's manifested, the way the things that he's accomplished, and the way that he's bringing his boys into his same circle. See, that's what family is truly all about. And if you try, every man should try to be able to leave something for their kids. I know we all aren't going to be able to get to that point. But sometimes you got to take a step back and look at something that's in front of you. And I was at his 60th birthday party, and I know how much baseball means to him. And he would have probably gave both arms and his legs to have Brandon Watson playing in the big leagues right now because that was his passion. But to change courses and to have a viable entity to allow his kids to change courses. Because Marcus played baseball too, he just didn't go as long as Brandon.
Right.
But to see them change courses and to interact into a business that their father started legitimately, and now it's being praised for in the right direction, is outstanding. And I'm just glad to call him my friend.
Hey, Eric, let me say something. Do you, your listeners, I think you got about 100 listeners or 1,000 listeners, whatever you got, Bobby, do you know you got Mr. Eric Davis?
Yeah.
Now, I'm serious about this. Yeah. Everybody knows that Eric Davis won the World Series. Everybody knows that he came to the Dodgers. Everybody knows you have Eric Davis on the phone, Bobby. You got to make sure your listeners tell your listeners that that's Eric Davis.
The baseball,
but this is different.
The Eric Davis.
The Eric Davis from the Cincinnati Reds, and that was his.
World champion.
They loved Joe Morgan. All of them loved Eric Davis. Yeah. He's from the ghettos over there on Denver, some street over there with Denver. What that street was? Escrata.
It was Denver, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he comes straight from there, man. The Jackson 5 came in his house one time, and one of them ate one of his steaks out the. Eric told his brother, man, why they eat my steak, man? And they told him that they said, let me see who it was, Randy. Whoever it was ate the steak. Eric said, man, I don't care, man, I was hungry. Jimmy, his brother was just getting in.
This is the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
And that's what my brother ran with Sam, and they did their thing and stuff. And I'm coming from
playing ball. And he was hungry.
And it was me and my brother and my father. So I thought like 12 or 15 steaks, and we all got 5. And my brother ate his, and he got the Jackson 5.
They came over and ate this
Denver,
for real.
in my living room eating my steak. And I don't give a damn about
I don't care who you are.
And Eric told Jimmy, don't you ever do that again, man.
I said they could buy this whole neighborhood. Why they down here eating my steak? You should be in Beverly Hills or somewhere. Eat their food. That's a true story. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a real deal there, Eric.
Okay, I want to wrap this segment up by talking about your collaboration as the godfather to Brandon and the contribution you made to history and how you felt when you saw him go from one game to the next. What was the name of that team he was playing with in Ohio, Sam?
I don't know. I think it was in
Triple A.
I don't know. I think it was in I don't know what it was.
Well, for my listening audience, Sam turned Brandon and Marcus over at the high school level for intensive training
to Eric Davis.
To Eric, right?
See, Eric Davis, I use a lot of people. I use Maury Wills, which is for the Dodgers, baseball still.
Great
still
player,
baseball.
yeah.
I use Eric Davis. Eric Davis was the one that I can trust because I knew Eric more than I knew Tommy Davis and all them guys. There's a bunch of guys that play for Dodgers that I talked to, and I let them work with them, but they wasn't nothing like Eric Davis. Okay. I went with Dale Starberry, I went with Joe Morgan, I went with all of them, but Eric Davis was the one that I knew would help. Me and Jimmy and Eric talked about it, and Eric helped him. Eric, when he was in high school, Eric put him on a machine. Eric bought this expensive machine that he had for himself, a pro machine, and I used to take Eric over to the house, Brandon over to the house all the time to hit that thing, and Eric taught him exactly what he knew already, but it made him feel much better because I said, a pro is telling you that, son. On the way there, I was talking to him. On the way back, I was talking to him. He said, Eric Davis said this, and he learned and he remembered everything Eric Davis said. Yes, he did break a record in baseball. Eric told him, too, just like your son, Zoe, on the team is one thing, but you got to be the star of that team.
Right.
Eric told him, he said, "Man, I want to hear some record-breaking stuff. I want you to be on MVP. I want you to be the most valuable player. If he's on that court, I mean, on that baseball field, center fielder, you got to be the best center fielder. You know what I'm saying? When you're hitting, you got to be the best hitter. You got to be somebody because anybody can just make the team and ride with it. And so that's stuck in stuck in my mind and Brandon's mind because we talked about it on the way to Eric to hit with Eric. On the way back, we talked about that, and that's what happened. Later in life, I mean, he was always a good hitter, but after being with Eric and talking to Eric Davis, it made him stronger,
changed
smarter,
his life.
and he believed.
Yeah.
He believed in himself all the time. And but Eric kept saying, Brandon said, "I got 4 hits today, Eric. You could have got 5." It's just Eric was always and telling him the honest to God truth, and that's what we loved Eric for because he was honest with us. He watched everything, even if he was hitting his own home runs in the big leagues because he was still in the big leagues doing his thing. We'd call him up late at night, and he always answer. And I'll tell you, Brandon, I got you. I'm gonna tell you something, and he would tell it exactly how it's gonna be. He told us it's gonna be tough. It ain't easy. And Eric told from the beginning to the end. He was right there with him through thick and through thin.
Wow.
Well, just so my audience knows.
Just say something real quick.
Sure.
As a godfather, it's a tremendous honor because a lot of people take that for granted and they really don't know what it means. But when you're a friend and that honor is bestowed upon you, it's something that you take that is yours because that honor really means that if something happens to Sam, he trusts me enough to lead his son.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so that's what I take from that.
Wow.
And that's what means the most to me. It's not whether you spend $100 million on somebody or you take them and you do all these amazing different things around the world with them. It's that one time that he might need to make a phone call and have somebody to talk to. That's what that means to me. Helping was the easiest part for me because coming from L.A., I didn't see Bobby Tolan, Willie Crawford, George Hendricks, Bob Watson, Danny Ford, George Hendricks. All these guys came from Fremont. I didn't see those guys. I heard about them.
Great players, all of them.
And it was like a myth to me because Fremont at the time had the most major leaguers come out of that high school in the world. There was 19 of them.
Just a lemon.
It was 19 of us, and I was just out of Fremont High School, and I never saw one of them guys come back. And I made a vow that if I ever got in that position, them kids in my community would see me.
Yeah.
And so that was my passion. That's where Harvard Park, when me and Daryl created Harvard Park, came from.
The program.
But for me for Sam to pick up the phone and to call me and say, "This is what I need you to do," that was like tax on ice cream. That was like, okay, when you need me.
Yeah.
That's not even nothing that's up for discussion. Number one, because I know his passion. Number two, I knew his kids could play. And number three, that's something that I love to do is teach. And the most important thing that I wanted to get Brandon to understand was that the game is still not fair. If I can say that.
Yeah.
And so you have to be super. Yeah. You have to be a 5'2" player. And the right person didn't like Brandon. That was the only reason Brandon didn't stay in the big league. It wasn't because of his athletic ability. It wasn't because he couldn't play. It's about an opportunity. And Brandon didn't get the right opportunity. And me and Sam talked about this a lot of times.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you told me.
And I told him how different people thought in the Nationals organization. I told him how these people
You told
think
us that name you said, it was
in
real.
these situations. And I told him, I said, he got to be way past that so they don't have no opportunity to say, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason that frustrated Sam, as well as it frustrated me, is because he could play.
Right.
He was better than a lot of people.
Hey, but you know what, Eric? And the first thing about it, my son was not a home run hitter.
Yeah.
But in his first professional
First
game,
professional
he hit a
pro
home
game.
run. So I
Yeah.
laughed and said, well,
Yeah.
God showed them. So, it was good for about 3 or 4 games that they liked him, but then sent him back down. But they wanted him to go, every time he got sent back down to AAA, they wanted him to go hit a wall or go get mad. We wasn't mad, man. I had already beginning to start setting them up for other things outside of baseball anyway.
Right.
See, I started
And
getting
that's
ready.
what fatherhood is all about.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you this, though, and me and Sam has talked about this too, and it's not a secret, but the things that Sam accomplished was fabulous. Okay, but when you in the minor leagues and you trying to survive and you trying to make a way because it's grimy and you trying to get there, and then the same people you trying to be grimy with see you in the ring with Mike Tyson, and they see you in a Range Rover, and they see you in this.
Eric
It was a lot of envy and jealous of that kid.
Eric
Big
told me because
time.
they knew he wasn't no
It
bonus
was
baby.
a lot. It was a lot of, and he wasn't a bonus
Right.
baby. He
See,
got
bonus baby got money. Yeah, but no.
But it's a lot of envy and jealous.
He was driving the
that
same kind of.
goes
He was driving the
into
same
that.
kind
And
of
for them
truck.
to see that, and his daddy was known all over sports.
Right. Well, here's the
And for them
thing.
to see that,
He was driving the kind of.
whether people want to say that or not outside the game,
But Eric told us everything. He
but
said
it affected the way people looked at him.
they knew because they knew he wasn't a bonus baby.
Well,
But you know what, that's
here's
an
the
interesting
deal.
angle.
I just need to plug this in
Go
just
ahead,
real
Bobby.
quickly. The reason everything that we're talking about right now is significant, the collaboration between men and the enduring friendships and the example that they have set. There are men that do what they do. Here's the outcome of that. At the AAA level, he played for a team in Columbus, Ohio.
that's what it
He set a record that had lasted for 95 years. He had the most consecutive
43 game hitting streak.
hitting streak. And it's because he had a dad behind him and he had a godfather. And that kind of network is what we have to recreate. In the last few minutes of this show, we're going to talk about what Sam does right now. I'm presently wearing a shirt that he gifted me with. Talk about this fight that's coming up Saturday night.
Got a big fight here in L.A. at the USC Galen Center this Saturday night. It's going to be on ESPN TV, free TV.
Oh, it's
But
going to be on, it's not on Showtime?
ESPN, boy,
Okay.
it's big too. Chris Arreola, the Mexican guy who fought against Klitschko before and lost,
Yeah.
but now he's back. He's in great shape. He fought this guy named Don King's fighter. Was that Don King? Was
Yeah.
they talking a whole bunch of shit? Don King's fighter is Tavern from Hate. I say
Tough
Hate.
fighter, man, yeah.
He beat my guy last time. He beat Chris Arreola, but Chris was a little out of shape. He broke Chris' nose, and he went to the point that Tavern went to the microphone today and said, I could have knocked you out last time. I'm going to beat you. I wanted to beat your ass last time. That's why I didn't knock you out. I just beat you up real bad. This time I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go ahead and knock your ass out. So that Mexican, my Mexican, Chris Arreola.
I love it.
Chris Arreola got on that microphone and started getting red, turning red, and said, I'm gonna fuck you up. Oh my God. That was the best press conference. And Don King was talking shit. Dan Goosen was talking shit. I was watching both of them. And I said, okay, it's on now. So this Saturday night, 2 big heavyweights. Now whoever wins the fight, we don't have Stavern, that's Don King. We got Chris Arreola, the hitman from the Mexican. Oh my God, he can't wait it's gonna be a great fight. The winner of that fight gets Klitschko.
The other Klitschko.
Really, the winner of the fight really gets Deontay Wilder, who was a big black,
your boy.
strong, 30 wins and 30 knockouts.
That's your fighter.
Yeah,
too.
so whoever wins the fight gets him. So whoever wins this fight here gets him, and whoever wins between them get the Klitschko. So it's on this Saturday night, man. You should have heard him talking, but it was Dan Goosen bet Don King. Don King said, let's bet $1 million. I bet $1 million on my fighter. Dan Goosen said, no, we don't bet no $1 million on a fighter. If my fighter lose, I cut all my hair off bald. If Tavern lose, you cut all your hair off.
That's the bet.
But they couldn't get it together because they was both scared. But Chris Arreola gonna be on his ass. One time Denzel Washington had a fight. Denzel had a fighter named Bolo about 10 years ago, whatever. And Chris was our new sensation, Mexican heavyweight. And we was at the Staples Center Forum. Where was that? And I was over there with Denzel with what's the man named from the judge, Judge Matthews.
yeah.
Judge Matthews was talking that tough.
Yeah.
I said, man, Chris Ariel ain't gonna lose against y'all. We were supposed to lose that fight. But I said, no, I went in there and told Chris, don't you let that man beat you, Chris. And Chris ain't gonna never forget that. Chris went in there and knocked that boy out in about the sixth round.
Wow.
It was cold. And right now it's where, I mean, it's gonna be a war because the boy beat Chris last time.
Yeah, I saw that.
This boy.
Yeah.
But it
Tough
was a
fight,
bloody noses make fights change, and you start thinking. So it's gonna be a war though. It's gonna be a war.
You got any other fighters on that card?
No, not big fight like this one. That's the biggest one. I got a bunch of little fighters on there. Other big fight coming up is Lara. Lara is my boy from Cuba.
Right.
He's fighting the number Canelo on July 12th. Big super fight.
Now, in a couple weeks, you got a fight in Canada.
Oh my God! You know what? Adonis Stevens, the one that knocked everybody
that's
out.
A hard-hitting boy.
We call him Superman.
Woo.
We just got him last month, and he's fighting his biggest fight today. He's fighting a big, strong German guy. But they fight over in Canada, Montreal, Canada. I can't wait to go back and do my thing over there with them next
Is
week.
that gonna be on Showtime?
24th on Showtime, regular Showtime TV, but it's gonna be big fight because he wants to fight. But if he wins that fight, fights Bernard Hopkins.
Okay.
And after that, they go on to fight some guy named Triple G or whoever that is.
Oh, that's Golovkin. That's a bad
We want them all. We looking for all of them.
Now-
My guys, we got. We in the money making business. Some guys got their records 19-0, 22-0, but they never made no money.
Yeah.
We want to get you some money. You want to fight? If you're gonna be a fighter, let's
Get you
fight
some money.
for the money.
Right.
All that.
That's the bottom line.
What about
There it is.
one-time Thurman?
One-time Thurman is the real deal. Keep one-time Thurman. He said he feels it. He's strong. He's knocking people out. He's just one of the toughest.
This
fighters
is the
we got.
promoter side in him. You hear it, you feel the
And
juices.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Floyd to fight again. That was a close fight. That was a good fight. That boy was all over Floyd's ass. That boy was all over him. The funny thing about it, we got Madonna and Floyd. So, it was a great night for us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Y'all pick up Madonna.
We got the fight before that was Louis Collazo and Amir Khan. We got both of them.
I got sick of seeing you all night long.
Yeah, we got them. we just add the fighters. Like I said,
where's the fight at on Saturday, Sam?
at USC Gala Center. I got you a ticket, ED. If you're in town.
okay, I
If
wanna
you're in
come to
town.
that.
Yeah, you need to see this shit. When they see Eric Davis, they're gonna be going, that's Eric Davis.
That's Eric Bowen.
They can't believe. They can't believe.
Hey, Jerry's coming, man.
Jerry
West.
West, my
Oh,
man, he coming to LA?
He's gonna come Saturday.
Oh, I love now, Jerry West. What Jerry West did for us was something different from anybody.
Yeah.
Jerry West, my best friend Flynn Robinson died last year. Bobby Glantine. Bobby said, Sam, Jerry West want to come to the funeral. I said, no, Bobby, it's too deep in the ghetto, right by Fremont High. 80th and Main. And it was getting dark because we made a funeral, a 7 o'clock funeral just so we could do this.
Yeah.
Bobby said, I said, Bobby, where you at? He said, I'm in the Mercedes-Benz right now with Jerry West. I said, Bobby, I'm going to hold the funeral up for 20 minutes. He said, I'll be there in 16 minutes. And Bobby pulled up, ain't nowhere to park on 80th and Main in the ghetto with a whole bunch of black people there. Jerry West pulled up. I gave a lady next door to the church $20. Let this one Mercedes park in the driveway. And Bobby and them they thought it was valet in it. They pulled up in there, and Jerry West gave the best speech for Flynn Robinson for Flynn Robinson that anybody could ever give. Because Flynn was his friend in the good old days, when 1971 when they played on team.
That's why I called Sam the Godfather. I told y'all. You see?
It was real. It was
Sam
real.
make it happen in the city.
And after that, Eric, they had another funeral 2 weeks later for Flynn Robinson, another one. And a whole bunch of Lakers came out.
Right.
But it wasn't like that soulful one on 80th and Main. You know where it is, Eric. You know right over
Yeah, I know
there.
where that
Ain't
is.
nowhere to park or nothing, boy. But we had Jerry, the great Jerry West. He'll be my friend forever because of that. I told him to. I told Bobby, I always tell you, Sam really loves you.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
fantastic.
All right,
Great show.
I got 2 minutes to wrap this up. Please get my book, Real Men Don't Play. Sam has talked about so many things. It would take a week to really just let this brother flow, but he allowed me to feature him in this book that also brings to light
With Jim
all
Brown.
of these brothers.
With Jim Brown. I don't know them other brothers, but I know
Real
Jim Brown.
Men Don't Play. Tonight's
I'm going to
evidence.
do Zoe show, too.
You got to come on through, man.
Yeah.
Eric Davis, you're in volume 2. As soon as Sam helped me blow this thing up, man.
All
we're
right.
ready to take,
Put you on a city hall. That's all you need.
That's all you need.
man. Sam, I'm gonna let you take the last minute and say whatever it is you want to say.
The award that Al Heyman won the other night, when I went on stage and said my little speech about whatever, a lot of people won awards. Floyd Mayweather won an award that night. Tim Bradley won that night. Mike Tyson announced it. No, everybody was there. Then Jimmy Leonard Jr. He's an announcer for Showtime. But his daddy used to be with me and your brother Eric at the Olympic Auditorium a long time ago. We was bad kids, sneaking in and all that. But his daddy was old. He died. You know what I'm saying? But he said that the three things about life. He said, my daddy asked me a long time ago, what do I want to be? Successful, rich and famous, or a good person? They gave him the good guy award. That's the name of the award. And it was just so touching to see a person just being good. People right now should just try to be a little bit good, and you'll get more out of it. Good. Eric Davis never turned his back on nothing I ever asked. Nothing. And I would never turn my back on. I used to pray for Eric Davis at home to have a baby boy. He had 2 girls. I said, Eric, what you gonna do? He said, I'm through, Sam. and I told Kobe Bryant the same thing. I said, Kobe, you got 2 girls, so what you gonna do? I'm through, Sam. So you know, it's hard as hell to make it like you want to make it. It's hard to have. Like I tell Floyd Mayweather and his daddy, I love y'all because you guys are 2 great people doing your thing right now, and your daddy's still living, and both of y'all was boxers, that's hard to do. You know Willie Mays and Michael Jordan and anybody you name wish like they could have a son like them, but it never happens like that. Eric had 2 great daughters playing ball. He taught them how to do all that stuff, but they wasn't guys. If they'd have been guys, he'd have been shit. Eric would have worked that boy to death. That boy like the Jackson 5. But it never happens what you want. You gotta deal what you get. And I remember when Eric said, Eric, what you guys want? No, Sam, 2 is enough. And I'm gonna go on and do my thing and hope for their kids to be good enough so I can get their kids and teach them some stuff. So
Sam, Sam, when you come back on my show, man?
Nah, man, you ain't get no listeners, man. Y'all build it up, put it on TV or something. You gotta build up. You gotta build up about it. You have Eric Davis on this show, and he's one of the greatest baseball players. When I said, I mean he's the greatest baseball player I know best. I knew Willie Mays, Maury Wills, Hank Aaron. I know them all personally, but not like I know Eric Davis. And so when you got him on here, he is a world champion. He's an All-American. He's everything. Everybody knows that. ED.
I'm gonna show you the numbers tomorrow.
I need some numbers and some bigger numbers than that.
Numbers now.
Make the numbers big. Make the numbers big. Make the numbers big. I'm gonna move on to Zoe show. I'm coming to Zoe.
That's where the numbers are for sure. The numbers is over there.
Hey, I'm not gonna take this kind of abuse. This is my dear friend. We done ran over. We gotta go home, but we got to get the hell out of here. It
was fun, man. Especially with
the show. Tell your friends, and let's get the numbers that this show.
Give me some numbers, man. Give me some numbers.
Give me some numbers.
All right.
We got to go. Oh, Lord.
D. Bradley.
This ain't supposed to be. The stress drains my emotion, but shedding tears is uncommon to me. 'Cause I'm too much